glad Joe, Usher, and Chris is in charge of the PowerPoint slides, and Tom Allen, of course, is doing our video tech, which he always does. And I would thank Maria and or Sherry for the prayer stuff, but they're not here either today. So if this is your first time here, could you please stand up and just tell us your name and where you're from?
I'm Emilio Cruz. I'm from here in Boerne, Texas. Nice to be here.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Katie Gonzalez.
Emilio and Kate, and they are Denise's son and daughter-in-law. So we're happy to have them. And if this is your, we did that. Let's see, you'll notice our activities listed in the bulletin. If you have any questions, you can talk to Reverend Jay or the board member or ask what the board member is and talk to them. Announcements. This is the last day of the month, so if you want to take the whole bulletin you have, you're welcome to. Normally we say take the insides and leave the jacket, but that doesn't have to happen today because we're moving on to June for our next Sunday. We do have May, June daily words on that back table under that blue unity sign. Those are free. Please pick one up if you would like. Also, we're always collecting dry goods and toiletries and things to pass on to Boerne groups that are in need. So if you ever have any food in your pantry that's been there that you're not going to eat, or toothbrushes or toothpaste from the dentist, or Kleenex, any kind of non-perishable stuff, please bring it in and leave it in our donation box. And most of the time that gets taken to family services once a week. So today we are going to be at Belisera, and I took reservations for the people that wanted to go that were here. But if you changed your mind and want to go, let me know immediately after the service. There's only 3 places that we can reserve late, get a big table that lets us actually sit in there over time and talk if we want to. We have other things going on here. They're all listed in your order of service. There's a ladies' lunch on the 3rd Wednesday, the Edgar Casey group on the 2nd and 4th Fridays, and the men's brunch group on the 1st Saturday, and they're all in there. We also have a discussion group in the morning from 9:30 to 10:30. We choose different books, and right now we are getting ready to finish up The Gift of Change by Marianne Williamson. So we'll probably still be on that book next time, but then we're moving on to a new book, which is
What the Mystics Know.
What the Mystics Know. I don't know why I turned it back, by Richard Rohr. And so the people that come or are interested in coming to the group need to pretty soon order that book so they have it on hand. Not the next Sunday, but probably the Sunday after. And if it's your first time here, or if you're not getting our weekly emails, we do have a sign-in sheet, again, back on that side under the chalkboard, and you can put your name and email address, and you will get a notice of what's coming up for the next Sunday. I think that goes out about Thursday, and you'll also get monthly a newsletter for that month. That goes out the first of the month. And every once in a while, there's just a special announcement, like the men's breakfast is coming up, or the ladies' luncheon, or something like that. So anyway, you can put your name and email address down, and you will get that. And you can be taken off of it anytime you want. There's also listed in your order of service a lot of different things going on with Zoom every week, and you can look at those. So now we're going to stand. Oh, sorry. Do these keys belong to anybody in here? They got left here last week.
Aren't those the keys?
To the gate plus somebody's personal.
Plus personal keys.
Got an
That
orange
key,
thing on it.
that separate hanging key was just separately in the box, and I tied it to that string thing.
Spring
What was separate?
Yes.
So they didn't necessarily leave these church keys, right? They just left their personal keys?
Yeah, they didn't leave the church keys.
Well, all of them were church keys.
No, the rest of it.
Oh, that stuff is new. Okay.
are
know
just
anything.
little emblems. And plus this one, which we don't know. But it doesn't belong to you. Who opened on hot luck? Does anybody remember who opened that week?
We did.
These aren't your keys, though. Joe?
No, I made a copy of those keys and put them in the box.
But where did they have his little orange
Yeah,
thing
I
on?
put them on there. I put them in the box, and then the next time I looked in the box, they were gone. So,
Well, maybe they had somebody that needed to get in for some reason and they thought they didn't need to keep them. But, okay, we'll put them back in the box. Now, please stand for our celebration song, Ever in God's Presence.
Ever in God's presence, I am filled with light. Guided by His wisdom, I am led aright. There's no darkness in the Lord. He is holy pure. He is with me when I need Him, making me feel sure. Ever in God's infinite presence, I am totally free. I am always joyful in God's harmony. Ever in God's presence, I am whole and free. Charged with healing action, His life flows through me. Nothing is incurable, all things can be healed. Faith can remove mountains so that health can be revealed. Ever in God's infinite presence, I am totally free. I am always joyful in God's harmony. Ever in God's presence, rich supply is mine. Overflowing substance comes from source divine. There is nothing I lack in the Father's store. Everything I need is always ready to outpour. Ever in God's infinite presence, I am totally free. I am always joyful in God's harmony.
Please, thank you. Please be seated. Inside your bulletin, you'll find a prayer request form for any prayer request. Through prayer is very powerful, and we have our own prayer circle that prays over your request for a week. You're also sent to Silent Unity, where they are prayed over for a month. There is a prayer box in the back. Is it the back? Yes. In the back when you come in, and if you want to put something in before church, you're welcome to. Also, when someone brings it forward, they'll take enough time so that if anybody has anything to drop in, if they can, you can always put it in afterwards too. So we are now going to have the daily word, and Chris Diaz will do that.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is comforted. The affirmation is, I am comforted, knowing God's presence is a blessing now and always. There are times I mourn the loss of a loved one, or perhaps the loss of something I treasure. I'm thankful when those around me acknowledge my loss and comfort me by expressing care and concern. It may not completely alleviate my pain, but their efforts do lift my mood, even if only for a short while. I also recognize the tender, loving presence of God that is always with and within me, and enables me to persevere even in the face of loss. God's comfort is for everyone. The light, love, peace, and comfort of the divine bless all those who are feeling pain of loss, loneliness, and grief. I pray that the love and care of God flow through me to comfort those who grieve. From Isaiah 49, the 13th verse. Sing for joy, O heavens, and exult, O earth. Break forth, O mountains, into singing. For the Lord has comforted his people and will have compassion on his suffering ones. Again, the affirmation, and if you care to join with me, we'll say it together. I am comforted, knowing God's presence is a blessing now and always. My name is Chris. Thank you for worshiping with us here today. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, please stand. And we're going to say the call of faith together. I know
I am blessed with the gift of choice, and I use it well as I navigate my life, knowing God is with me always. I turn inward and listen to the ever-present voice of love as I make new choices, and so it is.
Please remain standing as we sing our joy song in the silence.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
Thank you, Javier. And now our mission statement, which we'll say together.
Unity of Harmony
is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'm going to now turn it over to Jay for the blessing of the prayer request and the remainder of the service.
And good morning to all of you. Wonderful to see you, as always. This is a time in our service where we bring forth from our hearts, and our souls, the desires that we have, the hurts we have, the pain, frustration, celebrating joy. One thing that we know is that corporate prayer together is powerful prayer. Right now, as Maria holds this prayer box, I invite you to write your request on a piece of paper that is placed in the bulletin. It will be prayed over by our dedicated prayer team of wonderful prayer partners here. I will pray over it. Will be sent to Silent Unity. Will be prayed over for 30 days. I would like to make you aware of some prayers that I would like to see all of us come up with some things that we should keep in mind for prayer. Our own Marcella, who is Jennifer's mother, is in the hospital. I don't know if she's been released, but she's been there for a while, and she's suffering some after effects of treatment. So we want to keep her in our prayers. Also, Cynthia, we know it's Cynthia and David. She comes here with David. She was in the hospital last week where they diagnosed what appears to be, suggests to be a ventricular aneurysm. They released her. She's on her way to Oklahoma with David right now.
They're in Oklahoma.
Oh, they're in Oklahoma.
They're on their way back today.
They made some pretty good time. I've been up 35 and I thought I was doing well getting there when I did, but he booked it. All right.
He really did.
Well, all right. So she's doing well, and we want to uphold that continues. I also was made aware this morning that our Facebook media manager, you know Bertie, has told me that her father is actively in the process of making his transition right now. And I told her, I tried to get a little more information, but I wasn't able. I can tell you this, simply keep them in your prayers. Keep him in your prayers, the family in your prayers. This is a difficult time, for all involved. There are some prayers that we can't even vocalize. They're in our hearts. We just can't find words for them. And I want you to know that's where the Spirit is closest. He's the friend that sticks closer than a brother. Think about that. Think of the presence that you have within you right now as we come together to pray. So, Maria, I'm ready for them. You are. Thank you. Loving and infinite presence, we declare that you are here right now. And you are the Spirit that gives utterance. You are the understanding behind our human misunderstanding. For those who mourn this morning, we ask your gentle touch and your presence with them. For those who celebrate, we know that you are the joy by which they live. You appear to us as we need it, and we recognize that, and we pull back the dark shades of our egoic self, open into the divine light that you are, reminding us that we are light, we are presence, and we are love, and what is true of you is true of us. And we accept that responsibility, because it is ours, it is our gift. And our response is one of love. We know the core of truth resides in us. It touches what is needed right now. May those here in our state, in our country, in our world, who feel so divided right now, who mourn for so many things, who are feeling angry and divided against each other and themselves, may they feel wholeness. May those that speak a message of love and unification and clarity of divine purpose, which always seeks to bind together and not divide. The love that is with us right now is God, and that will is being done, and we affirm this is so in the silence of our being right now. And so it is. Amen.
I brought this song filled with nature images. It's by Daniel Nemad, and it's to go with today's message because, like the majesty of nature, We are all creative reflections of the divine. God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moon glow. God, you are every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe. And your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. In the midst of his children, God said that he would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face.
This is the time in our service where we come together to meditate. We know that when we uplift our consciousness and first do our best to empty it of all the approved negativities and upsets and things that happen on a daily basis, if we can let that go for this moment, and you know that we do this in the silence after I speak a few words. Silence is the element in which great things fashion themselves. And so I invite you to visit that place. The power, take a few deep breaths right now. Be aware of your feet on the floor, of your hands in your lap. Child of all good, you are born of eternal day. There is no evening of the soul, for it shall live forever. So this day I arise and go forth. This day filled with faith and assurance in all good. I proclaim the one life, in all and through all. I arise. I with gladness celebrate that is within me. I declare this day to be complete, perfect, and eternal. In the upcoming silence, I invite you to remember those words, knowing who you really are, and let all things be. And out of this sacred time, we say, I am love, I am light, I am strong, able. I align with God part of me that understands all, forgives all, and loves all. What is true of that present is true of us. I declare this is so right here and right now. Please receive it. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, India. It's wonderful to see you back again. Well, this morning I decided that I'd like to talk to you. Well, I decided these, I do these things some weeks back, and I decided that it wasn't, let me start over. I didn't decide this morning I want to talk about you being a natural. I decided it some time back. But I've had some things come to me in that ensuing time that I'd like to share that don't actually have to do with the body of the message, but they relate. I want to ask you this morning, have you thought about the fact, given it any of your passing thoughts, that basically you arrived in this existence unclothed, unfed, and scared? This, if there was no world out there, no hospital, no midwifery, no anything, this is the way that things happen naturally if we didn't do anything on this planet. We come from a place to a place, it seems, right here, and that we have folks that care for us, hopefully do it well, and show us or guide us in the way of that leads to a good life. But we show up naked and hungry and afraid. And a lot of us go out that way. And in between time, we're asked to make sense of what we often say and see out in front of us as nonsense. Because we see a world of conflicting wills, divergent opinions, people who are intent on having their way and the rest of the folks be damned. We sometimes are fortunate enough to come across folks that have recognized their God image and who they are and want to uplift and walk in newness of life and do the things, share of the abundance of love that's in them. So we have this kind of mix going on, and Dr. H. Emily Cady in her book, Lessons in Truth, referred to this as chemicalization. And basically, I see the world, she talked about it personally, I applied it globally. When one area of thought is turbulent and upset and angry, and love is being called forth by those of people in goodwill and in prayer who know who they are, and these two meet, you get a lot of different feelings, not only individually, but in groups. And I believe we're there right now. If you take the tack, accept my premise, that you're a natural, that you naturally come from God, then all the things that we see out here in the temporal physical world are just that, temporal. And to stake our very lives and hearts and existence on an opinion, on any opinion, beside the one that says I'm a child of the Most High God, to stake your life on an opinion is to me to be short-sighted and sell yourself short. We are not defined by what we think about something out there. We're defined already. The truth was born into us. It came with us. And we spend a lifetime, we start as children, spend a lifetime being programmed to forget the natural innocence that we had. Some churches believe in original sin. I happen to believe in original blessing and original innocence. And that the ego is something that I create like a wayward child that walks along with me in this thing called life. And that I have to keep in control and in balance lest it carry me away. Have you seen people that have been carried away by their egoic thoughts? I bet you've seen, you can think of it, yeah. You can see it. Everyone's on television. It's around us. They get carried away with, they fall in love with who they think they are. And when you're not remembering who you really are, you fall prey to all the ideas and opinions that might find lodgment in your consciousness. That's what we mean when we say you create your reality. You create it as much by, get this, omission as commission. The things that you don't want to think about, the things you would rather push down in your consciousness, also create a space for those who are thinking similar thoughts. Thoughts of a kind come together. Birds of a feather flock together. Thoughts of a kind have an affinity for one another. And we wonder, why are we unhappy? Why are we walking through life in a heavy way? It feels burdensome. And the reason is because we've literally forgotten who we are. We've forgotten the innocence that we were born with, that we came from. We came from everlasting, pure, unconditional love. Think about this. This world doesn't exactly want you to look inside. It constantly clamors for your attention someplace else. It feels, if I ask them about themselves, I've gotten many times the idea, there's a vagueness about what I am. And you know what? What happens in vagueness stays in vagueness. So when you set an intention to know who you are, then you're going to have to use the sword of truth to cut the information. Not the sword to cut yourself, not the sword to cut somebody. You know, when somebody treats you poorly, when somebody says they love you, and then they turn around and act the exact opposite way, does that really have anything to do with you? Or are they telling you that love isn't really a true commitment that they felt or they made? Because love means, love is not only what you say, it's what you do. And if you act in an unloving way or a hurtful way or a critical way, you know it and you store it. You can't escape what you do. You know, they say God forgives, but the nervous system never does. Think about that. We'll allow it, it will right itself if we allow it, but we think a few perfunctory prayers and God, I know you're with me and I'm great and I'm wonderful, and I'll walk on holding that same bunch of junk. That is unnatural. I want to help erase the vagueness that any of you or anybody that's watching this morning might be feeling about who they really are. In the last few weeks, I've gone through some VHS tapes of my work as a public speaker before I became a minister that are more than 25 years old. Some of them are 30 years old. And I noticed a couple of things. One, I was fatter, and I was younger. And I sat back in that easy chair and yeah, I did that. I was looking. I looked at that and I thought, you know, what you're saying is pretty good. Why? Because I learned it from wonderful people. A minister up the road that started Unity of Kerrville, Joe McKee. You know this, baby, I told you. Jack Boland. Wonderful mentors that even Brother Bob DeWeese, who was Oral Roberts' assistant, who had a metaphysical streak in him a mile long, but he wouldn't admit it. I learned from so many divergent people. And the one thing that I wanted it to do was be practical. Everything that I said, I wanted somebody to be able to use right now and take it out of the ether and put it out into this physical world and live a better life. But I digress. I was looking at these tapes, and after I got over the fact of my youth and extra pounds, I thought, what is it that spurred me to do this? I was in the corporate world before. I did some broadcasting on television and radio. I guess I've always had sort of an extroverted personality, but what was it that just literally went through me like lightning when I first picked up that Daily Word in 1982? Why did that stay with me? And I even got a piece of paper and a pen, and I thought, I'll write down any impressions. I didn't have any impressions to write down. I could not get hold of that. I could think of certain things along the way, but I really wanted to know what it was. Well, the paper ended up being blank, and the pen I put down, and I decided to get up and just go about my business, put those tapes in a box to look later. And then an hour or so later it hit me. I mean like thunder. I did this work, and I do this work not for money, not for recognition, but because I love it. And when I say I love it, I mean I love it. The only thing I can tell you, if you come to my house at midnight, you'll probably see me with a truth book open. That's the truth. Everybody has something that is their magnificent obsession, something that's naturally theirs. And that happens to be mine. And one thing leads to another, to another, to another in the study, and I think, yes, here's how this comes together. Yes, for this was I born. I just wish I'd have known it a little earlier. Maybe I did, and I tried to ignore it. But I'm here now. And I'm here to tell you that your passion, the things that you love, the things that move you, are the things that are naturally yours. The things that you're scared of, afraid of, feel negative about, accrued opinions over the years, those are not really part of you. And you know why I know they're not a part of you? Because they don't feel good. People who are angry, people who are cruel, people who are miserable, people who like to hurt other people are not happy and are not expressing the joy of being. We think they're getting away with something. They're getting away with nothing. As my father said, and you know, to me, that guy's pretty up there with the, you know, some of the best I've ever listened to. He said, Jay, when people act that way in these negative ways, you got to realize something. They missed the whole damn deal. And I said, what do you mean? He said, they're not happy. Can you have sympathy and compassion for the fact that if they were happy, they wouldn't have it? Everything is either a call for love or giving love. So when people disappoint us, when people hurt us, when people do things that just don't seem to make sense, can you step back and say, that doesn't have anything to do with me, although it's coming my way, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It has to do with where they are in consciousness. And where you are in consciousness, and I see, look at our numbers swelling here. You can feel it. You can feel, I know, the fact that we're getting bigger. We're reaching more people. It's a wonderful thing. This especially on our 30th anniversary. But where you are in consciousness is what you're going to express. And I've got to tell you something. You're no surprise to God, and it is all in divine order. Every bit of it. Everything that unfolds. Everything is made to be understood as a lesson for our higher growth. It's said that opportunity knocks. Yeah, it knocks us up or it knocks us down, depending on how we look at it. And I see negativity, and the call for love is an opportunity to actually do what I preach. How about that? How about ministers for a change, walking forward in life and acting the way they tell everyone else to act on Sunday? Now, some people get a kick out of inviting people. I don't. And traditional Christianity has said you're broken, and I have no disrespect of those folks that think like that. That's just not my way, and I don't believe it's your way either. And so what I do is I understand that. I understand that's a way of them expressing, but my natural feeling, my natural inclination is to give compassion and love to myself and others, and leave the judgments and the categorization and the hurt with those who make it their business to deal in that. How sad it is that they would make it their business to deal in human misery. But it happens. I was at an interfaith event, one of these things that was on the videotape that I was watching. I was in a faith event. The minister was in San Antonio. If I told you his name, you'd recognize, you'd know it right away. And I'm not here to knock him, but I'm here to tell you what I learned. I spoke, he had spoken, a couple of other people had spoken. And you have to realize this minister was a very fundamentalist, literalist pastor, but this was an interfaith event. And after I finished speaking, this minister walked up to me and he said, "You have a very good and polished presentation, but you're a heretic." And I said, "Can I have your hand on that?" He shook my hand because I didn't tell him this, but I thought, if he had liked what I said, I would have been concerned that I wasn't saying it right.
Oh.
Because he dealt in fear and division and separation. I don't judge him for that. I don't even, well, I just wish that with the reach that he has, that he could tell people the real truth about themselves instead of dealing in the parlance of negativity and division. I was really happy in a way that I was called a heretic. And he gave me his hand. He looked at me like I was nuts. And I was right. But I shook his hand and we parted. We parted well. And one other person said, "Well, somebody said that to me, I'd be so angry." I said, "Why do I need to add anger to his? Why do I need to make his bad opinions become mine?" Yeah, I didn't like it. But if I'm a heretic, if what I say be heresy, then let me keep doing it. Because this is truth. This is what we are told from the beginning in Christian scripture and in sacred writings all over the world. You're naturally part of God. And in some cases, you are told you are God. Anybody ever read U.S. Anderson's book, 3 Magic Words? I'll tip the bit for you at the end. What does he say about those 3 magic words? You are God. Not the big God with the capital G, but you are God still. Source of God. Just like you can't take an eyedropper out of the ocean and have it be any less. The entire ocean is represented in that drop as much as it is in the miles and miles of water. It still is what it is. We're talking about being a naturally responsible creator of your experience. So what do you have to do that? What do you have to do to one day be called a heretic, according to some people? Well, you have to forgive yourself. Metaphysics without, and I've said it many times, metaphysics without forgiveness is valueless. You've got to forgive yourself, and then you've got to forgive other people. And if you've forgiven yourself, well, you're going to automatically do it for others. And you're going to know that they're probably doing about the best they can given their knowledge and awareness at the time. And you might be called on to understand the indefensible. And that could be a problem sometimes. I'm not saying it's easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. When you forgive yourself and forgive others, then you open yourself up to a moment of grace. It happens right there. Magic happens because you've wiped your slate clean. You're willing to wipe their slate clean. And you're willing to walk in the newness of life that the Scripture says, in him was the light and the life of the world. It's so much grander and so much bigger than judgment and separation. You are, Walt Whitman said, the whole theory of the universe is directed to you. Because as far as you go, that's it. The Course in Miracles says, we don't have a private mind, we share a mind. Because for each one of us, the point where reality meets us is only what we can encompass for ourselves. I ask you this morning to realize anything that's unnatural to you, and you know it. And I'm not talking about the things that go into our mouth. As I agree with Scripture, we are affected not by what we put in our mouths so much as what comes out of us. And think about how you are when you're squeezed. Wayne Dyer talked about this, and I love it. He said, if you take a tomato and you squeeze it, do you ever get orange juice? Do you ever get grapefruit juice? Well, do you ever get prune juice? No. Well, why do you not? And I said, because that's what's in an orange. Just put the pressure on the orange, and what comes out of it is what it is. Put the pressure on us, the stress on us. And if negativity and upset and fear and all this negativity comes out of us, that's because that's what's inside of us. And it doesn't need to be blessed by a pastor, and it doesn't need to be carried forth as a banner that I am a sufferer and I am a victim. It needs to be forgiven and healed. And that's what we deal with here. We don't deal in small stuff. Nothing petty. No. We deal in the grand ideas, the wonder and the joy, the true joy of living. So if you want to come out of vagueness and be the natural child of God, that you know, there's a part of you, and I know it, there's a part of you that knows that speaks to you all the time. The question is, do we listen? Do we have ears to hear? Do we have eyes to see? What do you think Jesus was talking about? It was always about recognizing the life more abundant. Forgive yourself, forgive others, wipe the slate clean, and then look in your prayer time or your meditation time or whatever it may be, your journaling time. God forbid you have to look at videos of yourself. Well, it'll probably be better than it was looking at mine. I am a critical thought because I know, listen, I know at the time I love something called marble slab. And it showed. I didn't think that that chocolate ice cream with marshmallows and Reese's every night. See, I got to tell you, I go eat sushi. That's all. I've done something so healthy. I would go have the sushi because I loved it. And then I'd stop by Marble Slab, they'd put a big thing of ice cream and white marshmallows and Reese's and nuts, and they'd mix it all together, shove it in a cup, and I'd drive home eating that, and I think, I deserve it because I ate so healthy. Who was kidding? And I looked at those wheels and that guy is fat. And I thought, but you know what? I love the guy. I mean, I turned around, I loved him for what he wouldn't admit to himself. And I passed Marble Slab with a different consciousness today. Like, that's nice, and sometimes maybe, but not like I did. You have your own Marble Slab. You have your own thing competing for your attention. Now, you have your own thing about which you built a story. And I ask you this morning to be willing to deconstruct that story. You know, the Course in Miracles is about deconstructing the stories we told ourselves that hurt. Unity is about recognizing the Christ consciousness ever present, ever available right now, ready to make our path straight. Whatever your path is, and whatever you're going through, you're natural. You're naturally a son or daughter of the Most High God. I bless you. I support you. And I see you being all you can be. God bless you this morning now and always. Now comes a time in our service where we're privileged to give as we receive, and we know that as we do that, you know, that sounds like rote, and I don't like that. I want to tell you that every time I give them, it's come back to me. Maybe not the way that I thought, but it's come back in bigger ways. And I can tell you this, when you give of your treasure to this ministry, you're giving to a blessed cause. And I say that not just because I happen to be the pastor of this beautiful church, but because I've seen it. Give and it should be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I ask you as Joe comes forward to give the best gift you're able so we can continue the wonderful ministries we have here. Thank you.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. All that I give and receive.
Those of you who are watching by broadcast streaming right now, I ask you to send your best gift too. I know you're blessed. Some of you said this is what you call yours, Undie Sunday. In other words, you watch in your pajamas, and that's fine. I'm not trying to pull you in unless you want to get, but I ask you this. If you are blessed by this service, I ask you to give the best gift you're able by pressing the PayPal button at the bottom of your screen or sending your gifts to Unity of Boerne, P.O. Box 1973, Boerne, Texas 78006. Again, that's Unity of Boerne, P.O. Box 1973, Boerne, Texas 78006. God bless you and thank you for joining us this morning online as always. You're in the house of love, Joe. I hope you feel it. We sure do here. Thank you. And together, we will repeat our prayer for increase.
Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and I send it forth with my blessings and my love.
You know what? Something just happened here. I felt it again. I felt a block of energy just crack like thunder. Something is happening. This is the second time in 6 months. I don't say this lightly. Whatever it is, I affirm it. I saw it. I see it good. I see it good. God bless you.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Together we stand and join hands and feel comfortable.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, and we all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together we say, the light of
God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Go to the estate sale. Not today, we're gonna go to the estate sale.
I don't think they have food at the estate sale.
That's tough, man.
I was just thinking.
What I was saying is, I think on the tax that's on his person, the gain knob is probably too far up.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it may be. I don't know for sure. I only pretend to know things from my ego. Man, I was,
So what are you telling me? You're sometimes like different than everybody else? I don't know.
man, I was thinking of you yesterday because I had a feeling I'd see you. I was watching the Johnny Cash documentary on YouTube. I don't know. I'll send it to you somehow.
He's a character. It's me, Tom.
It's me, Tom. It's
T-H-O-M.
T-H-O-M. I'm gonna send it to you. I love it. I was listening to this song that's called I Never Picked Up. I don't know if you know that one. Dude, it's good stuff. I woke up in the middle of the night to take
It's sort
a
of
leak.
like the South, you know, it's like what you expect of everybody to be that same mindless follower, you know, and he was never. Yeah. He did have a period when he was strung out pretty badly on pills.
Yeah.
Okay. But then everybody in that film, they were all
They're prescribed like crazy.
yeah, and it was legal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so many songs about amphetamines in the country music scene is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like, and I hung out with those people.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I hung out. I was like, my steel guitar player when I was 19, 20 years old, my steel guitar player had been Ray Price's steel guitar player. And he was like the king of Western steel.
Yeah, great price.
Okay, but he was like just on the road. You know, he was part of the road band. All the people that did the recordings, they were much they were straight laced, they were serious people. And you know the difference. Yeah. There's a couple of things. Okay, I'm someplace in the middle. But when I was young, that's what I did for. That's what it's all about. At 19, and then, oh yeah, when I was going to have a life and get married and get kids. I better get a career.
Yeah, I sold out. I work in sales.
But I'm still doing it inside. Still doing it.
We should play one of these days. We should play one of these days. Bring a couple guitars and just hang out afterwards. Play music. Or help.
I have an acoustic bass too.
Oh, sweet, yeah. I mean, I have the upright or the acoustic.
No, I wouldn't bring out my upright if I had an upright. I would bring it out because I don't know. It's
The humidity?
I think it's the humidity and those necks, they don't have truck boxes.
They do not.